Hey folks, it's Arthur, but my friends call me Archie. This podcast episode is sponsored by you. If you have a more personal situation you want me to give my in-depth commentary on, send me an email. Thanks to all those who keep this channel going. So I got an email here, ready for you. I had to take out some of the names, but it is from, we'll just say, L, and it's about her boyfriend, M. So it says, "Hey Archie, hope you're doing well." Thank you. My name is L and I'm 31. I've been dating my boyfriend M for about a year. At first, everything was perfect. He's thoughtful, supportive, always willing to help me out. But lately, I've started to feel a growing sense of unease, like he's more interested in fixing me, in air quotes, than being my partner. For example, I casually mentioned once that I wished I was more organized. Since then, Mark has been giving me daily tips and even bought me a bunch of planners and productivity books. While I know he means well, it feels overwhelming, like he's trying to mold me into something I'm not. This isn't just a one-time thing. He does this with other parts of my life too. My career, my fitness routine, even the way I socialize have all become areas where he offers constant advice and suggestions. Recently, he suggested I take up a new hobby that he's into, even though I've told him I'm not really interested. It feels like he's constantly trying to improve me, rather than accepting me for who I am. I know he means well, but it's starting to make me feel inadequate, like I'm not good enough for him. I miss the days when we could just enjoy each other's company without him trying to upgrade me, in air quotes again. I don't want to hurt his feelings, but I also don't want to keep feeling like I'm some sort of project that he needs to work on. The anxiety of not being able to live up to his expectations is starting to get to me. I feel like a project. What should I do? Thanks for your help, L. Well, L, I really appreciate this email. Let's take a look here. I think let's take a step back. Okay, so I noticed when I was talking to a series of clients. I think this has happened. I probably noticed this like 5 years ago or so, but I started to see a pattern repeating itself over and over and over and over again, that people would criticize their partners a lot. So I saw this for a number of different reasons, okay? But let's talk about two of the main reasons. The first reason why I noticed that people started to overly criticize their partner, and eventually this would lead to usually the relationship collapsing, is that people wouldn't have another, they would be too constant with each other. And here's the point, is that when you're looking at, for example, at anything, right? When you're looking at it for a long time, then you start to notice sort of details within that thing, right? As a person is first examining you when the relationship is first beginning, they're starting to notice certain pieces of you. And this, I think, kind of follows into the intention of why people are dating a bit. So yeah, they can be looking at certain pieces of you and they can be trying to kind of figure you out. But at the same time, there are a lot of people out there, and this is, I'm feeling like this is a big part of this email as well, is there's a lot of people out there who are kind of trying to fit a certain shape into a certain hole in terms of like puzzle pieces. Like they want this puzzle to fit perfectly into the way that it's supposed to fit. Like, I'm sure you've seen like children that are playing with these like shapes and they have to put them in the right slots and whatnot. And so imagine that you have, a star shape and it's supposed to, there's a square or something and the kid is like shoving the star into the square and it's just not fitting, right? And so I think this happens to a lot of people as well. I've heard before, and in the comments too, I would like to hear if you've heard this as well. People say a lot of times like, I dated this person for a year and then I found out that they were someone else. This is a really curious thing. I mean, this really doesn't make sense to me, because a person can only maintain like a farce for so long. They can only lie for so long. They can only pretend for so long. There are some people who are manipulative, really, really manipulative, and they could be doing things behind your back. But in terms of the majority, I would say the majority of people are not capable of holding a farce for a year. What I would say is a more contributing factor is that when the couple initially started dating, the couple, one of the partners wanted the other one to be a star. And they were forcing them into this star. You are a star, you are a star, you're not a square, you're a star. Because that's the puzzle piece that they wanted in their life. So for example, right, let's take a look at this letter. So L, the woman, is saying that M, the man, has been giving her, a lot of tips, has been giving her a lot of suggestions. He wants her to be a planner, productivity books, change her fitness routine, the way she socializes. I mean, look at all of the areas that he's trying to change her, right? So I think one of the largest contributing factors here is that to accept the person as they are, this person is a star, they are not a square, right? And so I think that what your boyfriend is dealing with here is that he wants you to be something that you probably are not, right? And so there is a level of acceptance there, a level of, your boyfriend needs to take a step back and needs to see you for who you truly are and not just for who he wants you to be. And I think, so this is the first point, I think, is looking at things for what they really are and not for what we want them to be. I think this is probably more something that you need to speak with in depth with your boyfriend and have him reach this level of acceptance. The second thing that I want to point out here is, this is kind of what I was referencing before about 5 years ago, kind of the thing that I had been noticing, this pattern that I'd been noticing, is if your couple, your relationship doesn't have a purpose, if you don't have a project together, oftentimes your partner becomes your project, is what I've seen, okay? And it's a pattern that I've seen keep repeating itself. So for example, partners that don't have intentionality, that don't know exactly why they're together, that don't have a focus, something that they're building together, they often resort to viewing their partner as the project. Okay, so I'll give you, this example is really good, but I'll give you another example. Let's say that you have a couple that are in college together and they've just started dating, right? They are in this part of their life where they are not sure if they want to start a family. They are kind of focusing a bit on themselves, studying, whatnot. And so they don't really have use of the relationship partner yet. I think that the intentionality of why you have a partner is big. It depends on what you're trying to build. If you're trying to build something that is hard to do, like a family, I think this is why couples revolve around children, is that children they are a bit of a project, they are a focus, and so it is able to bring this couple together because they focus on the children. I think if you guys are interested in watching one of my other videos, I kind of talk about intentionality in my other videos as well. And being intentional with the relationship and intentionally being a partnership for a reason, like for the growth of children, is a very general example. But you could have different examples. You have partners that are starting businesses together. You have partners that are focusing on their community. You have partners that, for all sorts of different reasons, church groups, for humanitarian activities, for education, for you name it. And so there are partnerships, there are a lot of reasons why people come together. And if you lose focus of what that reason is, then a lot of times the partner becomes the reason for the union, right? So in this case, it could be that M and his girlfriend L, in this case, it could be that they are losing focus of what is bringing them together. And so M comes to the relationship, he comes to the table thinking that the reason he's in the relationship is to better L. And that's not exactly the reason why she's in the relationship, right? If, for example, if he was her physical trainer, if he was her psychiatrist, if he was blah, 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 then she would say, oh, okay, this is his job. This is what he's supposed to do. But she's in the relationship for a different reason. She doesn't want to be a project. She wants them to probably have a project together. And so my largest advice here would be to create a project with this partner. Look at the things that you want to build together, narrow them down, and work together to solve these projects. And, you can start off small. You can start off with a small project of we want to finish this book together, or we want to adopt a new skill together, or we want to blah, 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 what have you. And then they can become greater and greater skills. This is why team building is so important within a relationship, because teams serve a purpose. Teams are not there just for being there. They're not just there to declare that we are a team. They serve a purpose. This is an institution for a purpose. And so those are the two advices that I'd kind of give is, this acceptance, I think, is important. Talk to your partner about accepting who you are, that his purpose there is not to change you so much, to change you from a star to a square, and then also that you should have a combined purpose together, and this will bring you closer as a partnership, and will have him stop being so misguided in his efforts, because he doesn't mean bad things, I'm sure, but he's a bit misguided in his efforts. I think he needs to narrow down again what is the project that they have. For the people that are watching this video, I think it'd be quite interesting. I always like to, kind of not just rely on my own opinion, but if you guys have some opinions on this case study as well, with L and with M, it would be really interesting to hear your comments, kind of situations that you've seen or advice that you'd have for these couples. So I really appreciate the sense of community. And yeah, if you want to type your story in the comments, I'd be happy to read those as well.